Assalamu alaikum everyone, Ali Bhatti here from Scrumify, and I want to help you guys really master your resumes and take it to that extra notch that you need so it gets, it gets eyes and it gets praised. Alhamdulillah, we've had resumes that were highly praised. In fact, one of the resumes was so well done that they said that they literally the recruiter chose that resume out of like 30 to 40 resumes. And mashallah, that person eventually got the offer. So that said, let's go ahead and get right into the resume. There's the first thing I want to call out is icons. You can look up icons, right? And you might not get an exact icon. Like I didn't find LinkedIn's icon, but I found something similar. You drag and you drop it. You could give it some color. You could, mess around with the size, etc. You get the deal, right? It just adds that additional flair. Secondly, you notice what I did with the names? Look at that. Instead of it just being kind of boring, I pulled it out like this, I blew it up, and I gave it some color, and it just kind of gives this extra, change to it, right? Extra, nice little pizzazz to it. Secondly, font size. This is really important, right? So spacing and font size. The way that I like spacing done is that you notice how everything, I call it breathing room. Notice from the phone icon to the email icon, there's like this space, right? It's almost like 2.5 spaces. And then same thing, right? I make sure that the spacing is there. If I hold this icon and I drag it up a little bit, watch what happens. I drag it down. There, right there, it stops me and it shows that there's an exact spacing between 0.229. That's where I want it. Whatever it is, I don't really care as long as there's some form of spacing there, but it should match. You shouldn't have some weird spacing. Like, what if I had spacing that was like this, right? You see how that looks off already? So, and then the actual text should be smaller and it should be almost aligned to the middle of the icon. So I did that there. And you grab your text here and you want to line it up with the text on top, right? And then you want to kind of drag it down, and Canva does this for you beautifully, and it lines you up right there perfectly, right in the middle, and let go, boom. It looks super clean. Now, what about font size? So we talked about spacing. What about font size? So when we're talking about font size, what we want to do is we want to use a calculator. Now you're looking at me like, really crazy. Do I really have to use a calculator to figure out font size? Yes. You can look up golden ratio calculator or golden ratio and learn about it. It's this beautiful golden ratio that was found in design. And really, I could give an entire class on it, but like masters and PhD students learn about this concept of the golden ratio. And this golden ratio is found all over in not just design. God, Allah, has created so many things in this dunya that follow this principle of this golden mathematical equation equals golden ratio. Without boring you about all like the perfect, figuring it all out and stuff like that, there's a golden ratio calculator that will calculate the font, the sizes of things for you. Actually, let me back up for a second. What the heck is a golden ratio? The golden ratio is a particular ratio between one thing and another thing, and it tells you how big something should be compared to a smaller thing, so it looks perfectly, it looks beautiful. Like a child and a child that's smaller, younger, and a taller child. If the taller child is too tall next to the younger child, it's gonna look weird, right? But if there's a perfect progression, right, it's gonna look beautiful. Right? Imagine like a beautiful bar chart, and everything's kind of like going step by step, higher and higher. That's what I'm talking about, right? So with your font size, you don't want some fonts to be too big, too small, right? And how do you figure out font size? Well, we use the GRT calculator, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pull it up so that way you guys can kind of look at it and see what I'm talking about, right? So the GRT calculator, GRT, just put calculator. You can Google it, and there it is, Golden Ratio Typography Calculator. And there's this awesome website, and you could select a font. In our case, I'm going to go back and look at like a font. So let's say, for example, I click on this font. It's LATO, Lato. That's what the font is, and it's 7.5. And if I click on this, unfortunately, it's a different font. If I click on this, it seems like it's a Lato font. Almost everything's Lato. So let me see if I can find LATO. LATO. Yes. Sweet. Okay. You're not going to be always lucky like that, by the way. If you're not lucky and it doesn't show up, you can do a Google search to find a font family that is the closest that matches and that is found in the GRT calculator, and that should work. Font size, so 7.5. So I'm going to go and put 7.5, and I'm just going to hit enter. I don't care what the content width. And here we go. Here's the scale, this golden scale, right, that we're talking about. So they're saying, from a scale perspective, with this font size, I should, if I have 8, the next size up should be 10, right? And then 13. So actually, if I make this 8, and now let's say I go up to here and it says 60, right? I can't see where 60 goes, but if I want to know what should that perfect size be, so if this is 8 and I want to know 8, 10, 13, 16, 21, 26, and it keeps going higher, it's actually not too bad. I'm just going to go and put something, I mean, I could just put 60 here, or actually I could put 8, I would go to 26, put 26 here, and it should give me a bunch of sizes higher. Okay, it's not, it's actually going the other way. Oops, my bad. I should put it under font size. My mistake. There we go. So 26, 33, 42, 54, 68. So either I choose 54 or 68. So let me try 68. Might be too big. It's not too bad, right? It's not too bad. So I'll go with 68. That looks clean, right? This is 8. This is 68, and this one is 14.1. So I obviously have to change it. I have to see what matches with 8. So I'm gonna go back and put 8 here, enter, and it looks like either 16 or 13. So this is 14, this is closest to 16. So let me put 16, enter, and boom, there it is. And it might not be noticeable to the eye yet, but to the untrained eye, if they look at this, so far they're going to see that it looks really clean. To the eye, like this text is going to be matching. The font sizes are supposed to be perfect mathematically. We're not done yet though. This is 9.4, and it's a different font, so I'm actually going to go and make it Lato, so that way we're the same font. And it says 9.4, and the closest is 10 or 8. 9.4, I can probably go up to 10, maybe. So let's go to 10, enter, and I want it to do the same thing here, actually, to all of them. So I don't know if I can select it like this, make it Lato, make it 10, enter, boom. So there we have it. So now everything here is following the GRT principle, right? Notice that I increased the font size, so I might want to go back just to make sure that everything still matches. Sometimes the font size might change something. So I just want to make sure that everything still matches, aligned with it's in alignment with my icons. So far so good. I bring this in a little bit so it doesn't look too weird. Right. Cool. So that's what I wanted to teach you: icons, spacing, and icon spacing and icon spacing and GRT calculator. So I hope that helped. Please definitely use this when you're making your resumes. Make them beautiful, guys. Make them beautiful, right? Not to, make you feel stressed out or anything like that, but I do want to show you a resume that I liked personally. And again, this is just one example of a resume. So don't feel like, oh my God, I don't have my resume doesn't look like this or whatever. This resume here. So you can see the icons that this sister used, one of my previous students. They also look under skills. I really love it. So everything's custom here, right? This student thought of this idea of pulling this yellow bar here on the side and making it go underneath, and then having a title here, having an icon here. Look at the level of ihsan. Look at the excellence that this person has put into their work, right? There's a reason why this person had so many interviews, like one of the highest number of interviews in the entire Scrumify history, right? Look at the icons that they dropped in, right? GitHub's icon, Jira's icon. It's cool. It looks really clean, right? Look at the work experience. Look how things were done, right? Yours doesn't have to look like this. I have plain, resumes that were also excellent. Here's another one. This was a graduate that also got a job, had a lot of interviews. Look how basic it is. This one, just straight up, it's just a clean, easy, simple resume. It just kind of goes down, but it's clean, right? It has a very cool, clean look. Notice the spacing, notice the font size. They used the GRT calculator, they used icons, all of that was incorporated. Look at the way the LinkedIn is. I could click on this, it'll take me to the LinkedIn page. So here's some examples. I hope that you guys found this beneficial, inshallah. And that's that, guys. So definitely reach out if you have any questions. But otherwise, I am looking forward to seeing some awesome resumes from all of you. May Allah give you guys immense tawfiq. And until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.